There's no doubt that both Amazon and Disney have some big problems of late. Their latest big budget productions are not being well received by audiences, which is putting it mildly. Disney's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, is unfunny, uninteresting, and in classic feminist style, it's filled with incompetent male characters, and it's going nowhere, and only serving to detract from the legacy of the MCU. Of course, the MCU has already seen better days, and is now essentially coasting on past glories, while also attempting to reconfigure itself to adopt to the woke agenda of Hollywood. Disney also looks to have another monumental failure on its hands, in the form of the forthcoming The Little Mermaid, the live-action edition, which has been universally panned by audiences following the release of its teaser trailer, which has now amassed 21 million views, 1.1 million likes, I don't know where those likes are coming from, and 2.7 million dislikes. That's an increase of 1.2 million dislikes since my previous video 6 days ago. In addition, Disney also has another potential dud on its hands in the form of 2023's The Marvels, a sequel of sorts to Captain Marvel, which I'm sure fans are just dying to see. And by the sounds of a recent Variety interview, primary star Brie Larson already suspects that there's not an awful lot of fan appetite to see her character again.
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
And then there's Amazon and their billion-dollar disaster in the form of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, the utter vandalization of Tolkien's work. And interestingly enough, it currently holds the same audience score on Rotten Tomatoes as She-Hulk, 39%. The series is an utter travesty, with jaw-droppingly appalling writing. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw such awful writing and acting at the same time. Check out this scene.
After all you have endured, it is only natural to feel conflicted.
Conflicted? But you have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen what I have seen.
Good lord. How that didn't make it to the cutting room floor is just beyond me. That's some impressively bad acting and bad writing. And the deeply unlikable Mary Sue Galadriel has only gotten worse as the first season has gone on.
Remove your hand from me, sir. It would take longer than your lifetime, even to speak the names of those they've taken from me.
She also does this weird facial twitch that makes her kind of look like a rabbit eating a carrot or something. In a recent episode, there was a whole cringe plotline that was supposed to be a kind of cliched left-wing allegory for nationalism, where the characters were literally complaining about the elves coming to take their jobs. This character says, "Elf workers on our shores. Elf workers taking your trades." It's just so tiresome. At any rate, the media has gone into overdrive to defend both The Little Mermaid and The Rings of Power. The Guardian had this: Little Mermaid's racist critics pollute magical undersea world with bigotry. Vox.com had this: the racist backlash to The Little Mermaid and The Lord of the Rings is exhausting and extremely predictable. Lord of the Rings and The Little Mermaid are just the latest targets of racist fans. CNN had this article: analysis, a definitive rebuttal to every racist Little Mermaid argument. Mashable had this: hashtag you're all welcome here. The Rings of Power cast condemn racist critics and comments. BBC had this: Lord of the Rings stars condemn racist backlash to new Amazon series cast. It goes on and on. I think what we're seeing right now from corporate America, Hollywood, and from mainstream media critics who back them up is an interesting parallel to politics more broadly. There's a very vocal subsection of audiences who are simply deeply dissatisfied with the direction of certain big-budget film and television franchises, which have gone down the woke road or pushed a diversity agenda. And yet their objections have either been ignored, ridiculed, or written off as the bigoted intolerance of some kind of ist or phobe. Or at the bare minimum, these audience members are made to feel as if they're somehow backward and against progress. And just as with many hot-button political issues of our time, the establishment presents a united front on an accepted position and a way of thinking, and then genuine dissent is not accepted. It's demonized or even censored in the case of reviews or ratings being removed or suspended on certain review websites. Now, you can all probably recall this now iconic Jay Bauman line from an episode of Red Letter Media a few years back.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
This obviously became a meme that truly sums up how we're expected to basically just blindly consume what we're given by the entertainment industry without criticism, without examining or reflecting on how bad the quality of the actual product is. And I would now also say that one could apply this same meme to the fact that it now seems we're supposed to not only accept mediocrity, but in some cases, the detestable political messaging or agenda being pushed upon us. Like, don't ask questions, just consume woke product and get excited for next woke product. The media can try all they like to help Hollywood save face publicly. The reality is, it's not working. The audience members complaining about how bad these shows and films are not some fringe minority. They're not a subsection that can be overlooked. They're quite substantial. They're a very sizable number of people who previously would have paid good money at the box office or on streaming services if the product was good. But now their intelligence is being insulted, and when they complain about how bad or divisive a film or TV show is for whatever reason, they're demonized for it. This is not going to serve Hollywood's bottom line in the long run. We know that there's a diversity agenda in Hollywood, and moreover, the powers that be who make these productions know full well that this policy is going to provoke such reactions from fans, but they do it anyway. The coordinated nature of all these articles in the mainstream media is very telling, and just goes to show that there's a major push to conduct damage limitation because it's simply not going well. In my opinion, it suggests desperation. Insulting fan bases obviously won't make them like your product. It won't endear them, and it will only further alienate them, which results in the accelerated failure of the product itself. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this subject. Be sure to comment below, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you'd like to support my work, you can do so via the link below. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.